Alyssa Bell, for those of you who don't know me, although I see a lot of familiar faces here. We are going to present our seniors of 2022 today and some other friends from the studio who will be joining us. So I'm really sorry because I think we ran out of programs, but if you want me to, I can send you some programs or print some more later so you guys have them for posterity. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the octet, so you guys can come on up, and I think Ella has some things to say about it. So come on up, guys.
Right, so hello and welcome to this year's senior recital. Before we get started, I'd like to say a few things. First of all, we have lots of thank yous in order. We have a lot of very talented musicians performing today, and as anyone who has played an instrument knows, that talent doesn't just appear out of thin air. There's a lot of work that goes into it, both from the musicians themselves and the people there to support them. So I'd like to take some time to acknowledge a few groups of these supporting figures who have done more than they know to help us. First of all, I'd like to thank the parents and guardians for investing the time, money, and energy to help all of us reach our highest potential. Second of all, I would like to thank the friends and families who support us through their kind and encouraging words and their attendance of our concerts, because having the people we care about be invested in our musical journey can drive us to keep pushing forward. And last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank all of the music teachers from whom we learned everything we know about music. Person in that last group whom I, on behalf of all of our seniors, would like to give a very special thanks to. That person is Alyssa Bell, our teacher. Cannot even begin to explain everything she's done for us. From studio classes to getting us opportunities to assisting with audition processes to very valuable advice to, I believe, in one time a master class. She's played a massive role in shaping us into the young musicians we are today. So thank you so much, Alyssa, for everything you've done for us. We are going to miss you a lot when we leave. On your program for tonight is The Birth of the Viola for Viola Octet by Ella Coon. In case you didn't know, I am Ella Coon, the one who wrote that piece. The Birth of the Viola is meant to tell the story of, well, the birth of the viola as depicted by two-set violin. I'd like to take a moment to tell you that story because I feel that you will enjoy the piece much more if you know it. Our story begins in the workshop of the luthier Kachikawawa, who is making a violin for the orchestras that play for King Linguini. When the violin is finished, you will hear the theme from Bach Partita No. 3 in E major. Now, King Linguini is a very just king who really wants the best for his people, which you will hear reflected in his theme. But one day, King Linguini decides that he wants more bass in his music, so Kachikawawa created the first bass. When the bass is created, you will hear the theme from Saint-Saëns L'Elephant. This pleased King Linguini so much, but there was too large of a gap in the frequency between the instruments in the orchestra. So Kachikawawa created the first cello. When this happens, you will hear the theme from Saint-Saëns The Swan. King Linguini was impressed and very satisfied with the balance of the newly completed orchestra. At this point, you will hear the themes of all of the instruments overlap to signify this milestone. And so all was well, and the kingdom could enjoy its happily ever after. Until Kachikawawa accidentally made something too big to be a violin and too small to be a cello. At this point, you will hear the theme to Walton Viola Concerto. Kachikawawa consulted King Linguini about what to do with this abomination, and they both agreed that the public could not find out. But little did they know, Ling Ling was eavesdropping on them, and he went around and told the whole kingdom. Outrage ensued, and the people demanded justice for this newborn creation, at which point you will hear the chant-like theme. After some pushback from Kachikawawa, King Linguini had to make a statement that this new instrument will be called the viola. and the people deemed him the Viola King. At this point, you will hear a modified version of King Ling Linguini's theme. Just a few months later, a plague hit the kingdom. It was clear that it was caused by the new instrument, the viola. The frequency of it made you sick. When King Ling Linguini sought a solution to this problem, like the good king he was, a Tritonian god appeared to him. At this point, you will hear a cadenza-like section. The Tritonian god, Smejul, told the king Ling Linguini that the only solution to this problem was to make a sacrifice. So, King Ling Linguini sacrificed himself with the viola in order to save his people. At this point, you'll hear one final modified version of King Ling Linguini's theme. Although he might have died, it is said that his spirit lives on in the Viking hat, which we unfortunately do not have today. It's too sacred of an artifact for us to get our hands on. And that's the story of how the viola was born. Now, if you can read sheet music, there's a QR code in your program that will take you to the score for the octet. If you have the ability, I would highly recommend following along with that because it has a lot of lyrics in there that can tell you what's going on and titles for every section. So again, very highly recommend following along with that. It will really boost the experience. Just make sure to scan the QR code for the score and not the video because there's two. So without further ado, the birth of the viola.